If you saw SmackDown tonight, this was a complete waste of everybody's time. That's just me. That's just me. If you didn't see SmackDown tonight, God bless you. Hope you had a good Friday. It is what it is. I want to ask a question for everybody in the comment section. You guys can answer this in any way, shape, or form if you guys want. Why, in the blue fuck, are we getting a pay-per-view with 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania called Fastlane? Why? Can somebody please explain to me in the comment section why? Is it really necessary to have a pay-per-view with 2 weeks to go till WrestleMania? I stopped watching the show after the Buddy Murphy Cesaro match tonight. I stopped watching. There was no point of watching the main event because I already knew that Daniel Bryan was going to win this match and Roman Reigns will have to defend the Universal Championship with 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania. That's why I asked the question. Do we even need a pay-per-view in March? Is it necessary to have a pay-per-view in March? Not only, folks, we're getting one championship match for Fastlane. We're getting two. The Women's Tag Team Championships will be defended at Fastlane with Nia and Shayna defending against Bianca and Sasha. I ask why. Sasha can't take a loss going into WrestleMania. Bianca can't take a loss going into WrestleMania. They need momentum going into WrestleMania. How bad would it look for Sasha and Bianca to lose at Fastlane with 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania? I have no idea. Hell, to be honest with you, not even Kevin has an idea. Not even Kevin has an idea. This show, this company, does not make any type of sense whatsoever. None. I'm not really going to speak here for a whole hour, so I'm just going to, cut right through the show. To be honest with you, man, SmackDown was a waste of time of a show tonight. It was just as bad as Raw, if you ask me. Just as bad as Raw. But we'll go over everything as, as timely fashion as possible, because I'm not going to sit here for a whole hour and talk about a whole fucking show tonight that was completely fucking waste of everybody's time. I'm just not. And on top of that, I just want to give you guys content because I love to talk professional wrestling. So there you guys go. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys thought that SmackDown was a complete waste of time, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show tonight. If you guys even watched the show tonight, leave a comment down below. What you guys thought of the show tonight, or what you guys thought of the review tonight. And if you guys are new to the channel and you're watching this for the very first time and you like what you see and hear, hit that subscribe button down below. Ring those bells for all notifications so you guys don't miss a single upload that I do, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. NXT review is live on the channel right now. NXT Championship match set for next week between Finn Balor and Adam Cole. Next week for the NXT Championship. NXT should be good next week. Link to that video, link to the NXT review will be down below in the description, as well as in the upper right hand corner of your screen in the annotation, as well as Monday Night Raw review as well. Bobby Lashley finally, after 17 long years, Bobby Lashley finally wins the WWE Championship. Good for him. I am proud of Bobby Lashley. Link to Raw review will not only be down below in the description, but also in the upper hand corner of your screen in the annotation. Make sure you guys are following me on social media. Twitter at GoodVibesChris with an _. And Instagram at GoodVibesChris183. That is on Twitter and also on Instagram. Let's go over the show real quick. Real quick here. SmackDown kicked off with a hype video for Edge and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Michael Cole is in the ring inside the Thunderdome. He says, as we know, the main event of WrestleMania may be Roman Reigns and Edge for the Universal Championship, or maybe not. Now, if his guest tonight has anything to say about it, then Cole introduces former WWE champion Daniel Bryan. So Cole reminds Bryan that he was originally scheduled to team up with Edge to face Roman Reigns and Jey Uso at Fastlane. Why you couldn't give me that matchup at Fastlane? Why? So wait a minute. So let me get this straight here. So the original plan for Fastlane was for Daniel Bryan to team up with Edge to go up against Roman and Jey Uso. You could have given me that matchup. Instead of having Roman defend the championship at Fastlane with 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania. You could have given me that match instead. Ay, Vince and Bruce. Ay. Holy shit. I would have been fine with this match. I would have been fine with it as long as Roman doesn't fucking defend the title with 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania. I would have been okay with this tag team match. Daniel Bryan and Edge against Roman and Jey Uso. I'm fine with that. Or you could do me one better. Do me Edge and Daniel Bryan against Jay and a returning Jimmy Uso for Fastlane. That sounds a whole lot better. Oh my fucking Jesus fucking Christ. Moving on here. Then ask why he opted to change those plans. Bryan says Cole is making a lot of assumptions. He was never asked if he wanted to team with Edge to face Roman and Jey at Fastlane. He says everyone knows he'll do whatever is asked of him, and he rolls with the punches. So they didn't bother to ask. Bryan says Roman doesn't mind because he'd rather not defend the title. Edge was fine with it because he's already got his WrestleMania main event. Well, it's time he changes and does whatever he wants. Bryan says that everyone wants to see Roman versus Edge, ThunderDome versus Attitude Era, but he doesn't care about that. Who the fuck would want to see Attitude Era versus a ThunderDome? The Attitude Era will fucking kick the fucking ThunderDome's ass in 20 seconds. He wants the Universal Championship and the main event of WrestleMania. Bryan then points to the screen, and we see a video package of him winning the chamber match 2 weeks ago, only to lose to Roman in a Universal Championship match right afterwards. Then X came out and speared Reigns and made it clear that he wanted Roman at WrestleMania. Bryan says he's lost a lot in his career, been beat up a lot in his career. Says you think after winning the Elimination Chamber for a third time, then fighting violently against Roman Reigns, that he'd be okay with losing to Roman. But as Edge rolled into the ring and hit Roman with the spear, then pointed to the WrestleMania sign, he never felt more like a failure. Bryan says he's never had much ambition. In fact, he famously hasn't had any according to World Wrestling Entertainment testing. But this time it's different. Bryan says for the past year, he has put other talent ahead of him, put himself on the back burner, yet when Edge was pointing at the sign, he felt like a failure and realized that he had a lot more ambition. He was jealous and he wants it far more than they do. He's wrestled more in the last 3 weeks than Edge and Roman has in the past year. That is true. This is 110% true. He knows when he puts his mind to it, he's the absolute best. Tonight, he steps into the steel cage with Jey Uso, and if he wins, he goes on to face Roman Reigns at Fastlane, and that could well be his last chance at main eventing WrestleMania. Bryan makes to speak some more, but Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman interrupt to make their way into the ring. I love this promo by Daniel Bryan. Loved it. Absolutely love this. Roman, Jey, and Heyman stand opposite of Bryan in the ring. Reigns says he's looking at the same guy, but Bryan doesn't sound like the same guy. He laughs at the idea that Bryan is ambitious or driven and says he isn't. He's an underdog, a lotto winner. Sometimes he gets lucky and it works out. He's definitely not ambitious because men like him, and they are rare, and are ambitious. He takes what he wants. Roman says Bryan doesn't love wrestling either. He needs it because he has nothing else. Roman loves it though. He does it because people need and want him, not because he has to. Reigns says once Jay beats Bryan tonight, he will know that he needs him and then he can acknowledge him. Jay takes Bryan's microphone and tells him not to worry about the Universal Championship. Says this is as close as he'll ever get to the Universal title, that his road to WrestleMania will end tonight. Jay tries to sucker punch Bryan, then gets judo tossed, then thrown from the ring. Bryan stares at Roman and smiles, but Roman isn't happy, and he leaves with Jay pulling up the rear like a wounded dog. Great segment here. Good segment here for what it was. I love it Daniel Bryan has a fucking microphone in his head, in his hands. Bryan's one of those people when he has a fucking microphone in his hand, you stop what the fuck you're doing, and you listen to the man speak. Roman as well is the other guy, and Paul Heyman as well. There's a lot of guys nowadays on Raw and SmackDown, sometimes depending on who you talk to, can only take seriously when they have a microphone in their hands. Now I don't think. Now obviously if you saw SmackDown and you saw the main event of the show tonight, I don't think Bryan is beating Roman. I don't think so. Roman shouldn't be losing at all, period. Roman shouldn't be losing whatso fucking ever. At all. But this was good. This was we got an appetizer, and then we got the entree. This is the entree here that we could have gotten if we had Roman and Daniel for WrestleMania for the Universal title. But then again, this is what happens when you don't follow through to have Daniel Bryan win the Rumble. Now, I would have been fine if Edge won the Rumble and he picked McIntyre. That I would have been fine with. Then Daniel Bryan wins the Chamber. He gets Roman at WrestleMania. But instead, we're getting this match at Fastlane, which we will talk about going on to the main event of the show, which is the only good part about the show. Even though I didn't see it, but I did hear about it, and it was pretty good. The matchup was good. The cage match was good for what I was told for what it was. Later tonight, we get Bianca Belair facing Shayna Baszler, and after the break, we get the Street Profits in action. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins are in the ring, and out comes Sami Zayn. Zayn says that last week the Profits pulled off a fluke win over him and Corbin, but tonight they proved that was a fluke. Corbin comes out and says they're not partners or friends, and he refuses to be Sami's partner. I wouldn't blame you either, but I love Sami Zayn. Corbin asks for a singles match, and Ford says Dawkins' schedule is free, and Angelo likes it, and he agrees to facing both of them in singles matches. Sami isn't happy and says he didn't agree to any of this, but it must be a conspiracy theory. We get Montez Ford versus Baron, I shall not call him King, Corbin. I got that from JD. That's my boy right there, by the way. OTS for life. Just saying there. King Corbin won this match. We'll go over the ending of the match here. Corbin takes a second to trash talk to Dawkins, which allows Ford to jump onto his back with a sleeper. Corbin tries to sling Ford off, but he lands on his feet and kicks him onto the corner. Ford drops Corbin and hits a standing moonsault, but climbs the ropes with Zayn, and his cameraman distracts him. Ford jumps off, and nobody's home. Corbin catches Ford with the end of days and picks up the victory. Baron Corbin wins over Montez Ford. It was alright for what it was. Not bad of a match up here. Then next thing you know, after the match, Corbin rolls out of the ring, and Sami stops him and asks for help in his match and for helping him. Corbin agrees, and Zayn gets on the apron, but Dawkins knocks him off, and he hits Corbin, so the King turns and leaves Sami high and dry, which will be Sami Zayn versus Angelo Dawkins. Dawkins wins here. When they roll up here, Dawkins rolls up Zayn to pick up the victory. I will not go over the rest of the match because I don't care. The tag team division on Friday Night SmackDown is just as bad as Raw. But Dawkins wins with a roll-up over Sami Zayn. So you have Corbin beat Ford, but Dawkins beats Zayn. I just don't get it here. 50-50 booking, I say? Yeah, you can say that there. Now, who knows what the fuck the tag team title match will happen at WrestleMania? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? And at the same time, who the fuck cares? So Zayn freaks out after the match and asks whose fault that was. He shouts at his cameraman and says he doesn't recognize one of them. He didn't hire them, then hits them with a few knees and screams that he wants answers. Zayn holds his head, looking all confused. I am confused on watching a show every single week, as well as Monday Night Raw. There you go, folks. Moving on here. Carmella is backstage and Reginald brings her a bottle of champagne. Carmella says she brought the lowly Sami to the big leagues and he's betrayed her in favor of Sasha Banks. Now, if I was in Reginald's shoes, I wouldn't mind Sasha Banks. I wouldn't mind stabbing back. I wouldn't mind betraying Carmella over Sasha Banks. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I love Sasha. Don't mind her. He denies it, but she slashes champagne out of his hands and says he's fired. There you go, folks. Reginald is a waste of time and now he's fired. Good shit. Absolute good shit. We get Dominik Mysterio versus Chad Gable. Singles action here on Friday Night SmackDown. Dominik Mysterio wins here. Dominik breaks free, hits Gable with flying knees and hits a wheelbarrow roll into the turnbuckles. Gable counters Dominik, hits a tiger suplex for near fall. Gable goes up top, jumps for a moonsault, but Dominik rolls out of the way, and Gable lands on his feet. They exchange a series of roll-ups until Dominik scores the victory. I don't know where the fuck are they going with this here. With Dominik and Ray, with Gable and fucking Otis. Did you really have to break up Otis and Tucker? Now look what the fuck Tucker is right now. In catering, not being used. Whose fault is that? As soon as the bell rings, Ray turns into the ring, hits Otis with a baseball slap onto the opposite side. Ray then jumps off the apron onto Otis with a seated senton and knocks him over the announce desk. Ray and Dominik hightail it as Gable and Otis watch on in fury. There you go. I don't know where they're going with this from here, and at the same time, I just don't fucking care. Dominik wins. Do you give a shit? No. Moving on here. We see a replay of last week's promo between Seth Rollins and Cesaro, which resulted in Cesaro hitting Seth with a swing for a solid, good minute. Seth is interviewed backstage wearing a pink suit, which looks nice on him, by the way. And he says Cesaro's swing went on forever and he doesn't know why. Seth says Cesaro has never done that to anyone before. So why? He knows why. It's because Cesaro is afraid of him and the movement. What movement, Mr. Seth Rollins? What movement? He wanted to embarrass and humiliate him, and he won't forget that. Buddy Murphy appears, like all of a sudden, he's come back all of a sudden. Buddy Murphy appears beside Rollins and says he would like to assist Seth with the situation. Rollins tells him to get out of his sight, and Murphy leaves. So we get Buddy Murphy back on the show tonight, only for him to be a waste of time to Seth Rollins. Nice. Nice. Actually, I would love to see Buddy Murphy back on SmackDown, low-key. Have him go for the IC title. Can you imagine Big E against Murphy for the IC title? There's some good shit there, folks. Some good shit. But again, I don't write this show, as you know. We get a match between Shayna Baszler versus Bianca Belair. Now, folks, I said this on, I believe on, what was it? Last week on NXT. When champions should not be losing on live TV. Again, why in the blue fuck, give me a fucking second here. Why in the fuck do you have, now I get this, you want to build up Bianca for WrestleMania. I get that. But out of everybody on the SmackDown Women's Division, you have to put Bianca to face Shayna? Out of everybody else on the women's SmackDown division on SmackDown, you have to put Shayna against Bianca only for Bianca to win? When you know Shayna is a women's tag team champion and champions shouldn't be losing on live TV? Folks, I don't want to have a stroke or a heart attack on this show, but holy fucking shit. Again, out of everybody on the SmackDown women's division, you had to put Shayna against Bianca. Why? Why? That's all I want to know. It's why. That's all the fuck I want to know. Bianca Belair wins with the KOD. With the KOD. Belair kicks up, hits a back body drop, not selling the arm at all. Looks for a glam slam, but Baszler rolls forward, sending her out of the ring. Reginald shows up, tries to help Bianca up, but she shoves him into Nia Jax. Then Bianca rolls inside, but gets hit with a knee by Baszler. Reginald apologizes to Nia, but she runs at him, and he moves, so she hits Banks. Shayna grabs Bel-Air from behind with the Kuda clutch, but she quickly lifts her onto her shoulders, hits the KOD for the victory. After the match, Bel-Air berates Banks and Reggie and walks off. Banks then slaps Reginald and tells her to stop butting into her business. Is this the end of Reginald? I hope so. God, I fucking hope so. Match wasn't that bad for what it was. What was it? It was alright. Wasn't that bad for what it was. It was alright. Again, I gotta ask, why are you booking a women's tag team title match at Fastlane with Shayna and Nia versus Bianca and Sasha, knowing that Sasha and Bianca can't take a loss going into WrestleMania, unless, folks, if Sasha turns heel. The only way this makes sense, folks, the only way this makes sense is if Sasha turns heel, which I can possibly see happen at Fastlane, but you know, knowing this company, and this company could have even booked itself out of a fucking plastic bag, they'll probably have Sasha and Bianca win the titles. Knowing this. We don't know. Because of what happened on NXT this past Wednesday, who knows? Sasha can turn heel on Bianca. They can officially build their match for WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. I'm not excited for Fastlane whatsoever, folks. And neither should you. Bianca wins over Shayna. Why are champions losing on live television is beyond me. Jey Uso is warming up in Roman's dressing room. Roman Reigns tells him that in his job tonight is to make sure the Universal title is safe until WrestleMania. If he loses, he'll have to defend the belt at Fastlane, and that's fine. But if he loses, he'll disgrace himself and the family. Jay says he's got it. Buddy Murphy versus Cesaro. Singles action here tonight. Cesaro wins here. And I ask myself here. And I ask myself. This is the first time this year we're seeing Buddy Murphy on SmackDown. First time this year, if I'm not mistaken. There must have been another time at some point this year that we saw Murphy, but I don't care. This is probably the first time we see Murphy this year, and he loses to Cesaro. Now, I get it. You got to build up the possibility of a match between Cesaro and Rollins. If we're not getting this match at Fastlane, which I think we could, I don't mind if we see this match at WrestleMania. I don't mind it. Low key, I don't really mind this. If you're giving me Cesaro and Rollins for WrestleMania, I wouldn't mind it. I think that'll be a sleeper match for WrestleMania, if you ask me. Cesaro wins here. Murphy gets Cesaro back in the ring, hits a top rope crossbody for a 2 count. Cesaro shoves Murphy backwards into the buckles, then catches him with a European uppercut. Listen, you couldn't pay me no money in the world to take a European uppercut from Cesaro. None. Cesaro whips Murphy to the corners, hits uppercuts over and over, then running kick into the face. Cesaro hits a swing for a long time before transitioning into the sharpshooter for the submission victory. Cesaro wins. Cesaro wins. Now, this is the point where I stopped watching the show. I just completely stopped watching. So, whatever I read here on my notes here, that's just for you guys here. So Rollins gives Cesaro a fake applause from the announce desk, and Cesaro smiles at him. Are we getting a little teaser match at Fastlane, maybe at WrestleMania? Hope so. Moving on here, Reginald. Oh no, by the way, match is not bad for the time it was given. It was pretty alright for what it was. Not too bad of a match here. So Reginald is walking with a suitcase backstage and passes Sasha's locker room. He knocks and asks her for another chance, but she says no, slams the door in his face. Reginald then walks on down on the hallway, and Shayna and Nia are standing, and Baszler says he reeks of failure, just like Monday Night Raw does. Baszler wants to fight him, but Jack stops her and says he's kind of cute. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I think I said this, last week or 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. For a thick woman in Nia Jax, she's high. Would I bag? Sure. Would I take her on a date? Sure. Just saying. She's cute. Don't get me wrong, she's cute. Don't get me wrong, but it is what it is. So, Apollo Crews comes to the ring, and now he has a spear and two guys dressed in army gear flanking him. Crews speaks in a Nigerian accent and says everyone is telling him that they don't like the new him. I do. After what happened with you and Big E, oh yeah. And that promo that you cut last week, fantastic stuff. Well, the news is, this is the real him. He is a descendant of Nigerian royalty and a true African-American. He says he has brought two real Nigerian elite guards with him. His father used to tell him about guards like them, but he was ashamed of that heritage. His so-called friends would ask him if he lived in a jungle or rode a lion to school. He was ashamed. Guards like them would leave people in a bloody mess and haunt them for generations. And the older he gets, the more he realizes history repeats itself. Big E disrespected him, and he heard the voice of his ancestors telling him to stand up and take his heritage. So he knows Big E is at home, and he'll be back next week. While he's not the same man Big E pushed aside, he doesn't ask for opportunities, he demands them. He will stand before Big E and dominate him, leave him broken and humbled, and take the Intercontinental Championship. This, from what I've read here in this fucking promo here by fucking Apollo Crews, this was fantastic. Fantastic. This is the side, and I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again this week. This is the fucking Apollo Crews I need to see on the main roster. Now, sure, was he called up too soon? Yeah. He was called up a little bit too soon in 2016 on the Raw after WrestleMania. He was called up a little too soon. But they wasted him. And wasted him. And wasted him. And wasted him. And wasted him for 5 years on the main roster. For 5 years. Wasted. Now, this year, in a pandemic era, where you need new stars here, this could be one of your new stars. I can take, this is the Apollo Crews now, folks, that I can take seriously on this show. And I can tell this is either a Daniel Bryan move or a Paul Heyman move. Who knows? This is a great use of Apollo Crews here. And I hope, and I fucking hope so, Apollo Crews ends up winning the Intercontinental Championship. If I was booking WrestleMania, I would book Apollo Crews versus Big E at WrestleMania for the IC title, and I would have Apollo Crews beat Big E for the IC title. They can shuffle the championship here and there until it's time for Big E to get to Roman. Because on SmackDown, if Roman is going to stay on SmackDown after WrestleMania, which I will talk about at the end of the show, at the end of the review after the main event, if they're going to keep Roman Reigns on SmackDown, Roman needs new stars to feud with. Big E is going to be one of those guys. Big E is going to be one of those guys. Outside of Big E and Cesaro and Nakamura, who else on Friday Night SmackDown does Reigns need to feud with? I'm guessing after WrestleMania. Let's see. So this was a great promo here by Apollo Crews. Great stuff. This is another person that I stop what I'm doing and I hear the man speak when he has a microphone in his hand. Apollo Crews is one of those guys as well. That when he has a microphone and he's talking, you stop what the fuck you're doing and you listen to the man speak. Because he, right now, is on fire on Friday Night SmackDown. Good stuff by Apollo Crews, from what I've been reading here. So Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville are arguing with Natalya and Tamina backstage. Why is Tamina on the show? They want to know why they aren't getting a tag title shot at Fastlane, and Pearce says that's just a choice that was made. Deville says she would have went with them instead. Why? Moving on here with the show here. Jey Uso's interview backstage and starts ranting about the Uso penitentiary, but Daniel Bryan attacks them from behind and leaves him lying. There you go. So we get a backstage segment of Ding Dong Hello with Bayley. She says she's got a new segment in mind, like mean tweets, but seeing as everyone loves her, is called Sweet Tweets. I love Bayley. Bayley reads tweets from people saying her talk show should main event WrestleMania and that Sasha Banks would never get a talk show. The final card was not contemplatory, so she got up and slammed the door behind her. Corey Graves, now this is what I'm reading here. I mean, I've never seen the rest of the show here, so this is what I'm reading here. So, about Bayley having sweet tweets. I like the name. Instead of Ding Dong Hello, don't get me wrong, I like the name also. But if she wants to have a segment called Sweet Tweets, I like it. Do it. I like it. Corey Graves is inside a steel cage, and he reads us the rules of a steel cage match. Like I know the rules of a steel cage match by pinfall, submission, or escape the cage as long as the both feet touch the floor. Either through the door or over the cage. I got it. They have a cameraman on top of the cage to give us a feeling of what it's like. Graves says no matter who wins, they will leave a piece of themselves inside the cage. Daniel Bryan makes his entrance. Then Jay hits his entrance. Just before the bell rings, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman come out. And Roman sits on the ramp to watch this match. So I'm guessing Reigns was at ringside during this match. We got the cage match, folks, to main event the show tonight. Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. And if Daniel Bryan wins, he gets his title shot at Fastlane against Roman Reigns. Now, I'm going to go over the end of the match here. Bryan tries to transition to the label lock, but also wriggles his way and clobbers Bryan with big right hands over and over. Jay looks at Roman sitting in the cage on the stage and figures out his next move. Uso tries to climb the cage wall, but then again, Bryan climbs up behind him and grabs his ankles. Bryan drags Jay down, climbs up and over himself, but Jay drags him back inside. Bryan slams Jay into the cage a few times and hits a butterfly suplex and rolls into the S-lock. Jay crawls to the ropes, gets there, but there's no rope break because there's no disqualification. Bryan pulls back harder on the hold, and Jey Uso taps out. So Daniel Bryan wins here. Daniel Bryan has secured a shot at Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Roman Reigns is not happy, and Paul Heyman holds his head in his hands. Bryan climbs to the top of the cage, leads to the yes chant to end SmackDown on this specific show. Why? Why are we getting Daniel and Roman at Fastlane with 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania? Why? You could have gone with Roman and Jay, or even, you could even do this. You could have done this for Fastlane. A 6-man tag for Fastlane. Roman, Jay, and Jimmy Uso against Edge, Daniel Bryan, and a returning Christian. That sounds like a whole lot better than having Reigns defend his Universal Championship at Fastlane. That sounds a whole lot better. You could have easily gave me a 6-man tag, or you could have gave me the matchup that was changed all of a sudden with Roman and Jay against Edge and Daniel Bryan. You could have gave me that matchup. But the 6-man tag sounded a whole lot better. Roman, Jimmy, and Jay against Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Christian. Pero venga acá, muchacho. Are you fucking serious here? I love Daniel Bryan, don't get me wrong. But why is Reigns defending his title at Fastlane? This is what happens when you don't have Daniel Bryan win the Rumble. Or this is what happens when you have Edge pick Roman instead of fucking Drew McIntyre. If Edge would have picked McIntyre, McIntyre would still be WWE champion going into WrestleMania. Vince had no plans for Drew. Vince had absolutely no plans for Drew going into WrestleMania. You could have had Edge win the Rumble and have Edge pick Drew McIntyre. That would have been your WrestleMania match. And to have Daniel Bryan win the Chamber to face Reigns at WrestleMania. It's just that simple. Am I sitting here losing my mind? I think I am. I think I'm losing my fucking mind here. So now, Daniel Bryan gets a shot at Fastlane against Roman for the Universal title. Roman's not losing. That's just, let's just fucking address the elephant in the fucking room here. Roman is not losing whatsoever. Hell, if I was booking this fucking company, Roman's not losing anytime soon. Roman's not losing for the rest of the fucking year. Roman's not losing for the rest of the fucking year. Fuck that. This is what the fuck I would do. Roman's not losing the championship at all to possibly next year. You build up Big E for the rest of 2021. Have Big E win the fucking Rumble match next year. Have Big E win the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble match next year. You give us Big E and Roman in Texas next year in AT&T Stadium in Dallas at WrestleMania for the Universal title. Yeah. Done. But no. Here's what I'm thinking here. And I might be, taking a step further into this. Roman needs new opponents. Right? Roman needs new opponents coming out of WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre needs new opponents coming out of WrestleMania. Because I think Drew is going to walk out of WrestleMania as champion. Coming out of WrestleMania. I think Drew will regain back his championship at WrestleMania in April. I think so. What if Vince does the superstar shakeup, right? It's time to shake things up a bit, right? What if we get the superstar shakeup? Roman goes from SmackDown to Raw, and Drew goes from Raw to SmackDown. Now, I know you're going to ask me, Chris, does Roman take the Universal Championship over to Raw? Yes. Oh, Chris, does Drew McIntyre take the WWE Championship over to SmackDown? Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely 110%. Yeah. Yes. Chris, do you move the Intercontinental Championship over to Raw? Yes. Chris, do you move the IC title over to SmackDown? Yes. 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 110% yes. Universal. US title. Intercontinental title. And the WWE Championship. All going to be moved. After the Superstar shakeup. The SmackDown title, the Universal, and the IC title is going to be moved to Raw. And the US title and the coveted WWE Championship will be moved over to SmackDown. Those 4 titles need new opponents. Need new opponents. You move Roman and Big E over to Raw, and you move Riddle and McIntyre to SmackDown. Why? Because the 2 major titles, with Roman and McIntyre holding those championships, they need new opponents. That's just my guess here. That is just my guess. And also, at the same time, you move. Now, I heard that NXT is going to have new set of titles. They don't need a new set of titles. NXT does not need a new set of titles. You can have the Women's Tag Team Championships, which I said on the NXT review this past Wednesday. I said that the Women's Tag Team titles should be moved permanently to NXT. Because why? Because NXT has a lot more women to use than Raw and SmackDown put together. Am I a fucking genius or am I a fucking genius? I think I am. Now, with this whole Daniel Bryan situation, does Bryan go into WrestleMania and make triple threat match with Edge and Roman? I think so. I think we'll get a fuck finish at the match at Fastlane. I think we'll get a fuck finish here. And then Bryan is going to most likely get added to the Edge and Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, making a triple threat. Now, if they're booking a triple threat match, does Roman Reigns win? Yes. Roman wins at WrestleMania. But at the same time, if you're booking a triple threat with Roman, Edge, and Bryan, what has Bryan done to gain the match at WrestleMania? Then again, that makes sense because outside of Edge and Roman and Bryan can get added to it, what else does Bryan do at WrestleMania? You can't just leave one of your popular superstars on SmackDown out of the WrestleMania card. Can't do that. You gotta put him in there some way, somehow. I think we get a triple threat match either one way or another for WrestleMania. I think we do. Now, but what does that do for Lashley and McIntyre? That's not a WrestleMania match. We've seen that last year at Backlash, which I said back on Raw Review this past Monday. McIntyre and Lashley is not a WrestleMania match. We've seen that at a D-level pay-per-view last year. And on top of that, to make matters worse here, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but McIntyre and Lashley last year at Backlash did not main event the show. So please explain to me, how is McIntyre and Lashley a WrestleMania match when they didn't main event Backlash last year? I just want to know the answer to that question. You know, I just want to know. But people want to say, yeah, Lashley and McIntyre, yeah, a WrestleMania worthy main event. Sure. Keep telling yourself that. Go watch Backlash on the fucking network from Backlash to fucking 2020, and you tell me what matchup main evented Backlash. You sit there and tell me. It wasn't Lashley and McIntyre. It wasn't. It was Edge and Orton in the greatest wrestling match ever, which you know that never happened. The greatest wrestling match that ever happened was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker for WrestleMania 25. That was the greatest wrestling match ever, in my opinion, of course. But that is it, guys, for the SmackDown review. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed the SmackDown review, if you guys even reached this far of the review and you liked it, hit thumbs up. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show tonight. I thought it was a complete waste of time because You know, we're on the road. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and nothing. And if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on both guys for notifications. NXT review is live on the channel right now, as well as Monday Night Raw review. Link to both these videos will be not only down below in the description, but also down below in the not only down below in the description, but also in the annotation on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Make sure you guys are following me on social media. Twitter at GoodVibesChris_, and Instagram at GoodVibesChris183. Hope you guys have a good weekend. I will see you guys on Raw Monday night. I will be watching Revolution, but I will not review it because I really want to enjoy my weekend here. So, and I think so far I'm kind of liking my schedule so far. You know, uploading Monday, take Tuesday off, upload Wednesday, take Thursday off, and upload Friday, and have Saturday and Sunday off. So far, I kind of like that schedule, and so far it's been consistent for me. So I kind of like it so far. But I think once I build a bigger audience, that's when I will review Dynamite and fucking NXT on Tuesdays. So I thought about the schedule after WrestleMania when NXT gets moved to Tuesday. So this is what I'll do. Monday is Raw review. Tuesday will be NXT. Wednesday will be Dynamite. And Friday will be SmackDown. And then I take the weekends off. And then I take Thursdays off as well. So there you go. That'll be my schedule. My upload schedule after WrestleMania. So Raw Monday, NXT Tuesday, Dynamite Wednesday, take Thursday off, Friday SmackDown review, then Saturday and Sunday off. Unless if I want to do the podcast back, which I won't do anytime soon because I want to build up my audience once again. So thank you guys so much for watching the review. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on both for notifications. Have a good weekend, guys. I will see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Raw review. Enjoy Revolution on Sunday night. And I want to know, also down below in the comment section, who do you think that Tony Khan signed? People think it's CM Punk. People think it's Brock Lesnar. Who knows? Tony Khan said it on Twitter earlier today, as of this morning. It's one of his all-time favorite superstars. And you know Tony Khan, he's a big wrestling fan, so who knows? The comment section down below is now yours. I'll see you guys on Monday for our review. Like I said, guys, enjoy Revolution this Sunday. I am Chris, guys. I will see you guys on Monday for Monday Night Raw review. Talk to you guys on Monday.